Hello everybody, my name is Kador. Welcome to another music collection video. This is going to be the first in a series of like 2 or maybe even 3. I've gotten a lot of stuff since I made my last video, and yeah, it was all just really recently at a bunch of different record stores. I spent way too much money, so I added a lot to my collection, let's just say that. So this video is just going to be vinyl records, albums, LPs, whatever you want to call them. Just gonna be those, and then I'll do tapes and maybe CDs in another video. Yeah, anyway, this video is just gonna be records. I'm gonna go in order of when I first got them to, now. So, chronological order. Yeah, let's jump into it. So, first we got Neutral Milk Hotel with On Avery Island. So this is basically their other album. It's, Airplane Over the Sea. I already have that as well. I think I got this from my parents for my birthday. They just saw it in a store and they're like, hey, he likes Neutral Milk Hotel. So yeah, I mean, it's their other album, right? Airplane Over the Sea is better. It's an amazing album. It's one of my favorite albums ever. But this is not bad. It's a very good album as well. It's a bit more experimental, I want to say. A little more like just weird, noisy kind of lo-fi sound experiments scattered throughout. But there are some just straight up, songs and folk songs and whatnot as well. That, some of them are pretty similar to Aeroplane. And in general, if you're craving more Neutral Milk Hotel, I mean, this is where you gotta go after you've listened to Aeroplane. But it's kind of stars and whatnot in the back. Yeah, I mean, again, it's not as good, but it's interesting and it's more Neutral Milk Hotel, so there's nothing really to dislike. And actually, I like on the vinyl version how the last track is this like 14-minute noisy drone piece, and it gets a little bit boring, I gotta say. I'm all for drony noise. I love that stuff, but yeah, I don't know. It does get a little bit kind of like, what's the point of just looping this forever when you're listening to the digital version or whatever? But on the vinyl, it's actually cut down to like 4 or 5 minutes, which is really nice. So yeah, I mean, I think it just works better, honestly, at that length as a closer to the album. So anyway, here is liner notes. It's very, it's all just like handwritten. Well, there's also like printed stuff, but yeah, all the lyrics, once again, like the other one, are just like continuous, just with no real obvious breaks in between each song, so it's kind of hard to read and follow along, but at least they're there. Yeah, it's pretty simple design. And then the LP itself is this sort of thing. So yeah, it's a good album. If you want more Neutral Milk Hotel, definitely check this out. But listen to Aeroplane first. Alright, next, something I got at my local record store. I just saw it there and I was like, yeah, I have to get something by this band really quickly. So I got this. It is Converge with the album, their latest album, The Dusk in Us. You'll notice right away it's on this like shiny rainbow shine. It's awesome. I didn't even know it was like that until I saw it in person. It's all shiny and colorful. I love it. But yeah, this is Converge. It is they're one of my favorite bands now. Jane Doe is one of my all-time favorite albums. And yeah, they really got me into metalcore, mathcore, hardcore, ultimately like grindcore and that sort of thing as well, screamo. Like, they got me into all those genres with Jane Doe, basically. So this is actually only like probably my 4th favorite album from them, but that's just because they make so many fantastic albums. Like, they've practically never made a bad album as far as the ones I've heard. I think I've heard all their kind of main like studio albums, and I don't know, the only one I consider like slightly below great is Petitioning an Empty Sky, I think. But yeah, anyway, this is a really good album as well. I mean, it's fantastic. Here's the back with the track list and all that. A little bit less mathy, I guess, on this album. They're doing more of those kind of vocals where he goes like, ah, rather than like, you know what I'm saying? If that made any sense to you, I don't know. Here's the booklet that comes with it. So it has all the lyrics basically on each page. So it says a song and then it has all the lyrics for it. Yeah, and it's just the same kind of art throughout. And the vocalist Jacob Bannon does all the artwork for all the albums, so that's pretty cool. Liner notes and all that. There's also a printed sleeve of sorts, and of course the LP inside there. I didn't know what color it was going to be when I got it, but it was just black, which is fine. I think that works with the color scheme. I generally like to get colors of vinyl that match the colors of the album, but I mean, it does in this case. There were other colors, but I'm totally fine with black in this case. Is yeah, works really well. So yeah, Converge, they're really good. I don't know what else to say. I mean, it's metalcore, but like the good kind, not the dumb melodic commercial kind that you see nowadays. Yeah, it's great. It's not their best album though. I would recommend Jane Doe, No Heroes, Axe to Fall, probably above this one, but this one's still really great, and I'm glad to have it. Alright, next we'll go to 4 records that I got from the record store Underground Sounds in Ann Arbor, Michigan. And this is an awesome record store. It's probably the best record store I've been to in terms of like records that are personal favorites of mine. Generally stuff that's like highly regarded as good albums, like stuff that's highly rated on Rate Your Music and all that. That's kind of their general selection, and they have just really good selection, like multiple copies of all their albums. It's pretty great. So a lot of just like, yeah, modern classics basically there. So kind of arbitrary order here, but I'll start with Nails, Abandon All Life. I just realized I haven't actually listened to this vinyl yet. I thought I listened to all these before I did the video, but I forgot about this one. I need to listen to this again, because I've actually only listened once, but when I first listened to this, it blew me away. I mean, yeah, it's like power violence, I guess, and grindcore and that sort of thing. So it's just really fast, heavy, abrasive, loud music that is just completely insane. The track In Exodus, which is the first track on here, just really hooked me in right away and stands out quite a bit, I think, just because like the guitar tone is just insane. It just doesn't even sound like a guitar. It's just like it sounds awesome. It's ridiculous. So yeah, this album's pretty fantastic. I mean, it just going just like straight ahead, just aggressive, chaotic, insane, really well produced grindcore, power violence stuff. You can't get better than this, in my opinion. So yeah, you have the back, which is kind of dumb, admittedly. I actually really like the cover art. It's like, I don't know, it's this cool painting. They use a lot of really neat like techniques. I don't know if you can see very well. The lighting's kind of bad, but it has like cultists and stuff doing things, but I just like the textures. Yeah, the back's, you know, there's a wolf or whatever. Hatred ad infinitum. It's pretty dumb, I'm not gonna lie. And I don't think the lyrics are very good either, but who cares, honestly? I mean, you know, with this kind of album, it's just all about the music. Here are the dudes, looking real edgy and metal, I guess. And then yeah, there is the album. It's on black and all that. I think this is like the repress that plays at 33 RPM. I think the original version played at 45. And I don't really know why they recut it, because it's like a 17-minute long album. There's like no reason for it to be 33, but whatever. Here's this. And then all the lyrics. So, yeah. I mean, I meant to listen to this before I did the video, because I don't know if like my opinion on the album has changed or something, but I doubt it has. Yeah. As far as I can tell, this is peak grindcore. Alright, next up, we got this one. Sunbather by Deaf Heaven. Yeah, I like this album quite a bit. I don't know why there's so much freaking controversy around it. Just metalheads getting upset that it's like happy sounding metal, and I guess that's not supposed to be a thing. I don't know, whatever. It's this cool slit through it so you can kind of see what's going on inside on both sides, so, you know, pretty neat. So this is a black gaze, which is like black metal mixed with shoegaze. Yeah, definitely one of the best examples of that, next to like Heritoire's The Circle, which is a great and underrated album in my opinion. But anyway, this is not a gatefold, but it's a double LP, so it has this sort of poster thing going on here. Pretty cool. And then it has this, which says strange poetic things that I don't entirely understand, but I like it. And then the lyrics, which also say somewhat strange poetic things that I very much like as well. Yeah, I mean, Dream House is an absolute classic, one of my favorite songs ever, straight up. I mean, really, this whole album just gets better and better with every listen. I love it. It's fantastic. It's really beautiful, euphoric, chaotic, insane. Yeah, it's just like super emotional and intense. And the best part is that the vinyls, pink, what? I love having a pink record. And also, the other one, yellow. It's like a little bit transparent. So that's really cool. Pink and yellow. Totally works with the color scheme of the album and all that, so I approve. But yeah, Deaf Heaven Sunbather, there really should not be as much hate towards this album as there is. It's a fantastic album, in my opinion, and if you're into black metal or shoegaze or any kind of freaking loud, euphoric, emotional, epic music, check it out. Next up, another absolute classic. This is the band Godspeed You, Black Emperor, with the album Lift Your Skinny Fists Like Antennas to Heaven. Longest band and album title in existence. Probably not, but very long anyway. This is good. This is a very good album. This is my favorite from Godspeed. I haven't heard all their stuff, but I've heard most of their main albums. And, God, I mean, the first, like, 5 or 6 minutes of this thing is just some of the best music I've ever heard in my life. It is insane. It's just so just beautiful and epic and triumphant and perfect. And the rest of the album is fantastic too. I mean, it's like, here's they tried to like speak French and then failed. It's like, levez-vous, skinny fists, come antennas to heaven. I don't know, it's like half in French, half in English, I guess. But yeah, the packaging of this is really cool, by the way. It's made out of like recycled cardboard, it looks like. Like this is actually just brown cardboard. And then I love the gatefold on this thing. Basically what it is a map of the album. So like it's a double album, so there's 4 sides and each side is a track. But within each track there's all these like movements basically. So it shows like the timestamps of each movement and the names of each of them. So like, yeah. It just kind of names like each little kind of bit within the song, so you can kind of like separate them. So yeah, the Lift Your Skinny Fists Like Antennas to Heaven, the first part, fantastic. Broken Windows, Locks of Love, Part 3 is also a really good part. Both parts have horns, which I don't know, I guess I really like in the context of this album. I mean, yeah, again, the album entirely is just fantastic. I find new things to love about it each time. Let me show you some of the other things in the packaging first. So, one of the printed inner sleeves is this artwork. This guy got his hands chopped off, and there's these I don't know, like founding fathers kind of going around accusing people of things, I guess. I don't know. There's probably some deeper meaning that I could uncover if I looked at this for long enough, but anyway. And then there's these images in the back. That's kind of weird. There's like a cat with a cone on his head. New Jersey Turnpike, this sign that just says a bunch of apocalyptic nonsense. County Sheriff, guy holding a doll. Very strange images, but very aesthetically pleasing. Or at least like emotionally pleasing. I don't know, maybe I'm not using the word aesthetic correctly, but... And the other printed inner sleeve is this sort of scene again. You can actually see his hands being chopped off by one of the founding father people. Which is probably a symbol for like the government, hurting the poor and kind of like disabling the poor and stuff. They're a political band, even though they don't have any lyrics or anything, from what I can tell. So that's pretty cool. And those are the hands on the cover, obviously. And this is probably my favorite part. Here's the liner notes in the back. I mean, the liner notes themselves are really poetic and weird and goofy. You'd assume this would be a picture of the band, but this is not Godspeed. This is just some other band. It's so great. I'm pretty sure it isn't, at least, because it has a vocalist, and Godspeed doesn't have a vocalist, and just in general, like, I've seen them live. They don't look like this. This is from 2000, so maybe they look different, but yeah, almost positive this is just some like punk band and not actually Godspeed. So that's great. I love that. Pretty genius in my opinion. So yeah. Anyway, this is a fantastic album. It's like watching a movie without, you know, the visuals. It just goes through so many different moods. It's so dynamic, so many different sounds and elements and textures and things in this. And there's so many different like field recordings and so much instrumentation. It just goes from section to section, and yeah, it's just like this constant narrative that just guides you throughout, and it's really beautiful and fantastic album. Listen to it. Alright, and next up we got Have a Nice Life with the album Death Consciousness. Yeah, this thing. I don't know how to even describe it really. I guess it's like shoegazy post-punk, but some would probably debate that. It's really kind of its own thing. It's just not very comparable to much else. Like, I guess the post-punk, you could probably liken it to Joy Division a little bit in some ways, but it's really kind of its own thing. Very depressing and sad, but also just kind of blissful and just beautiful lo-fi music. I don't know how to describe it beyond that, but it's fantastic. The coolest thing about this album, well, not the coolest thing, but the coolest thing about like buying it physically is that you get this along with it. So this is the Death Consciousness book, basically, and what it is the main portion of this is an essay written by some professor at some college, and it's an essay about Antiochus. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's like this 13th century philosopher that had this really grim, death-obsessed philosophy, and he kind of garnered this cult. I'm only about halfway through the essay right now, so I can't really tell you everything about it, but I guess it's good because I won't spoil it. It's really good so far. It's actually a really entertaining and gripping read, despite probably not sounding super interesting. I mean, yeah, this guy seemed pretty nuts, and he wrote these books with like these strange poetic statements in them, and it's cool to look through this and see some of the lyrics on this album that was taken out of Antiochus's writing. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And then the rest of it is lyrics to the songs. So like the last part of the book is like lyrics and pictures and things like that. So it's a really cool little edition, and yeah, it's fun to read and really intense and interesting. So yeah, track list and all that, and then you open it up, and you got a gatefold of sorts. You got this whole excerpt from, I don't know if you can see that at all, but some guy, it's like a guy who went to jail, I guess, from the letters of Robert Vore, sent from, I don't know. Anyway, it's just a cool, interesting little excerpt. Really sets the mood for the album. They talk here about how they basically made the whole album, like all the gear that went into the album cost about $1,000, so pretty cheap, and using a lot of just simple equipment that anybody can get, really. Yeah, so this album's beautiful and amazing, and I love it. I definitely recommend it to like pretty much everyone, as long as you're okay with like kind of lo-fi and kind of gloomy music. The song Blood Hail on here is just, again, one of my favorite songs ever. And initially, when I first listened to this, that was like the one song that really stood out, and the rest of the album was like, it's okay, but Blood Hail is like fantastic. And I still think Blood Hail is my favorite, but with each repeated listen of the album, I've grown to like the other tracks on here a lot as well. There are so many other highlights besides that one, and just, yeah, the whole album is absolutely beautiful, and you really need to listen to this. It's amazing. I just realized I forgot to show you the actual vinyl on there, but it's just black vinyl, so it's nothing too interesting. But yeah, I mean, I got it for a pretty good deal, because it's really hard to find a good price for that on Discogs, so I'm happy I got that. But anyway, next album, Transylvanian Hunger. This thing is amazing. I love it. So yeah, Dark Throne, Transylvanian Hunger. What can I say? Classic black metal. It's really just like the most straightforward black metal album ever. There's just black metal on this album, like no other stylings, no other sounds or whatever. It is just pure, true Norwegian black metal, as it says right here. But I love it. I mean, yeah, it's just definitely the best. It's the best pure black metal album, in my opinion. And really, I don't think Darkthrone's other albums even really come close to this, to be honest. I know there's like a big three or whatever. I don't think the other two are quite as good. Yeah, Blaze in the Northern Sky is good, but it's doesn't really compare to the excellence of this, to be honest, in my opinion. So pretty simple, minimal packaging with this, but you get this, which I don't know what this means. I guess it's just the title of this painting, but yeah, it's hard to find like a translation of that. But anyway, here are the lyrics, which are usually, or except for like 2 songs, they're all in Norwegian, so I don't really know what they mean, but yeah, just the track Transylvanian Hunger on here is like the best black metal song. If you're talking just straight up pure black metal, it is the best black metal song. Actually, Burzum's Dunkelheit might be close to that. I need to listen to Philosophum again, but yeah, anyway, just God, Transylvanian Hunger is it's so good. And all the tracks on here are just fantastic. Every riff is like super memorable. It's just this hypnotic, minimalist black metal that's really, I mean, it's got really, I guess, tinny like production, but in a good way, in a way that just makes it sound super like cold and raw and just like evil. Yeah, this is everything that pure, unadulterated black metal should be, and I love it. And now for a complete 180, we got Cocteau Twins with Heaven or Las Vegas, and it's actually I say it's a complete 180, but I was actually noticing a lot of similarities between this and Transylvanian Hunger. As weird as that sounds, I mean, the mood and the atmosphere and like just the like, you know, yeah, just like the mood of it basically is complete opposite. Obviously this is super like sunny and happy and warm and just like blissful and pretty, whereas that album is really cold and evil and dark and you know, gross. Not really gross, but you know, just like very like filthy. But at the same time, both of them, the first song on the album is the standout for me. The song Cherry Colored Funk on here is just fantastic. And also with both of them, it's relatively minimal, kind of all the songs following kind of the same formula for the most part, and all the songs are all really fantastic. So it's like there's some similarities, I would say, between them in that sense, but they're also sort of like opposite mood-wise. Yeah, so this is Dream Pop, or Ethereal Wave or whatever, and it is really beautiful. Every song, as I said, is just fantastic, just really gorgeous Dream Pop, and yeah, I don't know what else to say about it. It's just really beautiful. If you want to just like feel good summery music, this is pretty much the best you can get. So I forgot to say, this and Darkthrone I got at, I think it was Omega Music is what it's called, in Dayton, Ohio. So that wasn't at the Underground Sounds one, but yeah. Anyway, this album's great. What else can I say? The lyrics are interesting because they're chosen for their sound, not for what they actually mean. And she sings them in like a really interesting way. So the vocals are just like super memorable, and they're just twisted in a really strange but also really gorgeous way that I really love. So yeah, I've only heard like 2 Cocteau Twins albums, this and Treasure. And Treasure is a lot more dark and it's almost like dark ambient at parts, which is cool, but I definitely prefer the summery, warm, just blissful vibe of Heaven or Las Vegas. Alright, so this one's kind of out of order actually. I got these before most of the other ones here. I think after Converge is where this should have actually gone. But this is Nothing with the album Tired of Tomorrow. Yeah. I seem to be the only one who really loves this album. I mean, there's a general good reception to it, but I think this is the best shoegaze album ever. Loveless is close, but like, I don't know, this thing just blew me away when I first listened. and in my opinion, this is just everything that shoegaze should be. And you know, maybe a bit of dream pop or whatever, and also tinged with just like alternative rock and maybe grunge. I don't know. All those elements are kind of in there as well. They take a lot from their, you know, the legends of the past for sure. I mean, they wear their influences on their sleeve, but I think they blend all these different influences together into just really the perfect shoegaze sound. Like, I can't imagine shoegaze songs being better than this. Like, the songwriting is just perfect for the genre. They're not really doing anything new, but they're really perfecting the genre, in my opinion. So yeah, it's fantastic. There's them, I guess, painting the roof. So yeah, I mean, again, just it's kind of similar to Cocteau Twins in a way. If you just want some like beautiful, warm, summery, feel good. Well, it's actually kind of sad music, I guess. That's probably the difference. Cocteau Twins is more straight up happy, and this is kind of like depressing, but in a still a really like beautiful, summery, warm kind of way. So here's the insert. It has all the lyrics with little doodles and whatnot as well. It's very nicely done. And the vinyl is real nice. I got the another kind of pinkish record actually next to Death Heaven. It's the pink and like white bone merge, I guess it was called. So it has a little bit of white kind of faded into it, I guess. But yeah, it's just like pinkish white blobby kind of stuff. So really nice vinyl color, and yeah, just a beautiful album. One of my all-time favorites for sure. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. This album is fantastic. If you like shoegaze, just listen to this. I don't know why I'm the only one who like absolutely loves this thing, but I just think it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful, and so many just catchy, memorable songs on here. Yeah, Nothing Tired of Tomorrow. If you like shoegaze, don't miss out. And finally, the last album in this video will be, this is Tim Hecker with Radio Amor. This is the new vinyl press of this, actually. This came out in 2003, I want to say. I think around there. And that was the only vinyl pressing I got until now. So it was really hard to get, because I guess they pressed it in a kind of a limited quantity, so there's really no way of getting the record. But then they repressed this and Haunt Me in 2018, so I basically pre-ordered this and just got it. And this is I think it's my second favorite Tim Hecker album. Yeah, I would say so. So yeah, I mean it's pretty close to like Harmony and Ultraviolet, Virgins being my favorite. But yeah, this is just so. Again, this is a summery album. I mean, I'm getting a lot of summery albums in the summer, I just realized, which is, I guess, fitting. But for me, I mean, I don't know, some people think this is, like, kind of cold music, but I think this is just super warm, nostalgic. I think it's definitely the most nostalgic Tim Hecker album, whatever that means. I think the photos kind of help with that, too. They're just these, like, really kind of sepia, just, like, summery kind of beach photos and stuff. So I think it's really pretty, and you got these, like, you know, everything's scribbled down kind of, and then you have these things. Apparently this whole album was inspired by this guy named, this like shrimper, I guess, the guy who catches shrimp, named like Jimmy, that Tim Hecker was like on some boating trip with in like some tropical place. I don't even know. So it's kind of a funny little inspiration for this album, but yeah, you know, it's a double album, just the lack of vinyl. But yeah, the way this album kind of differs from his other stuff is it's a bit more noisy, I would say. There's a lot of distortion used here. There's also the way he uses the piano on here is really cool. There's like these kind of glitchy piano segments. It's sort of like if you took like Steve Reich piano, like minimalist piano pieces, but you kind of like glitched them up and distorted them, made them really lo-fi, and made them just like skip around. And it's just so beautiful. I love the piano, the way he uses the piano on this thing. It's really unlike anything I've ever heard, and it's just gorgeous. I mean, just these like really just muffled, muddy, lo-fi pianos just skittering all over the place. And then all the other aspects of the album are great too. He uses some field recordings and just very subtle glitching in the background where it doesn't even sound electronic. It just sounds like something happening in the distance. It still sounds like a very organic and warm record, I think. So yeah, anyway, if you're into ambient music, especially ambient music that's a bit more busy and noisy and glitchy and kind of has a lot going on, really dense ambient music. Definitely listen to this. It is so good. Just such a beautiful, brilliant album. Alright, that's it. Those are all my records that I've gotten between my last video and now. So I'll make another video at some point relatively soon, probably, talking about all the tapes I've gotten, CDs, that sort of thing as well, and like a couple zines, all that. So that'll be another long video, but I'll make it at some point. And I actually released a tape of my own, which I'll go over in that video when I'm showing off all the tapes. I'll show off mine first and kind of tell you all about that. But yeah, I mean, I guess I'll link in the description below where you can buy that digitally on Bandcamp. I don't have the physical copies up for sale because I don't know, I don't really have a system for like mailing tapes out right now. But also put in the email for the guy that you can label, the guy at the label that you can email to buy the tapes if you want to. It's a noise tape. Yeah, I'll go over it in the other video, but anyway, check the description for a little bit of information on that. And thanks for watching. Music is great. Yay. See ya.